Hi, I'm Situ. I am a mother, a wife, a career woman, um, and a daughter. Mixed bags of a lot of roles and responsibilities. Talking about my mental health, it was a gradual process. I think it had started right in my childhood. I am from born and bred in Kathmandu, Nepal. So I grew up in a very conservative, strict family. There were so many rules for me as a woman, as a girl child. A lot of limitations and restrictions, and mental health was something that was so foreign to me. I didn't even know that people go through depression and anxiety. I thought it was just part of our normal emotions that I just had to learn to deal with. I didn't have the avenue to talk to anybody. And I think I remember the first time I was depressed, now that I'm thinking about it, was when I had this long relationship with my boyfriend for 3 years in Nepal. I was so emotionally invested, and we had to break it off, and I felt like it was the end of the world. And I was depressed at that time. I remember just being in bed and not wanting to wake up the next day. So I think that kind of started it, but I just didn't have support system in my country, or I didn't know who to talk to, and nobody even told me like there was mental health happening back in the 2000s. I didn't know any of that. And then I decided to get away from the breakup. I wanted to go to America and start off new. I was so afraid. I had so many emotions and anxiety going on, but I never talked about it because I thought I'm just supposed to brave it up and just suck it up and go. So I think it was piling on. I come to this country, I educated and did my college. I was working. I paid through college. I met my husband 2 years from there. We got married really fast. Like within 4 years of being in the country, I had graduated. I was a mom. I was a wife. There were so many factors playing in, and I was just playing as part of society. Like, okay, got to manage it all. My first bad mental breakdown happened when I had my second child, Jonathan. The anxiety was just so debilitating. I could not function as a person. I was not sleeping. My mind would keep going. I had two children back to back, and it was just so much. And I got very suicidal at that time. This was 7 years ago in 2014. When I realized things were not right, I reached out to my husband. I had to go to a psychiatric ward. This was the first time it was a revelation. I was like, there are medications for depression. So it was an education for me. And I went through the whole process of, doing therapy and, going to mom support groups and all that. And I had found my psychiatrist and my support group and everything. And things were going fine. I was, starting to do better. I was starting to get my sleep back, my energy back. Anxiety was falling in place. But life happens again. So as I was settling with my mental health and being healed, my husband came with the revelation that we had to move to Florida because he got a job here and he wanted to be close to family. So as a supportive wife, I quit my job and I said, let's go, let's follow, chase your dream. So yeah, in 2014 we came to Florida. And I couldn't get my psychiatrist. He's like, I'm not going to be able to help you in Florida. So as soon as I came to Florida, I put my mental health in the back burner. I was just focusing on kids. You're in a new place. I need to get a doctor for them. I need to find schools, and I guess around that, I was just piling on a lot of responsibility on me, neglecting. And at the time, I'm thinking I'm coping fine. I'm happy. But over the years, things started bundling up. I'm a new mom. Pandemic happened. And that was a lot of stress on me. I had started a new job. I'm training while I'm homeschooling the kids. My anxiety was all over the place, but nobody kind of put it in perspective, like, see, to calm down. And it was just at a time. We had to deal with a time when my husband lost his, he had to let go of his company because of a lot of stress that happened. And when that happened, I pushed myself to go to work. So it was piling up. It was piling. We came to 2021. We decided we want to move to a bigger house, chasing the American dream. And then I was like, oh my God, more responsibilities, more challenges. My husband had just started a new business. So I was thinking, business is like contract based. So it's, somebody needs to have a secure income. So I pushed myself and I said, I'm going to go work full time. While my husband is traveling for his work, I'm also doing his books and I'm going full time job. And I was taking care of my kids. During the same time, I also found out my father had stage 3 cancer. He would call me all the time saying, I'm so sick, I need financial help. So I was taking on everybody's problems and trying to be the solution while I neglected myself. What happens? I had a nervous breakdown. I started having panic attacks. I felt so unstable. I told my husband I can't get out of the house because I feel like I could just explode any moment. And then I wasn't sleeping at night. My mind just would go on and on and on from one worry to next, and I wasn't sleeping, and it went on for months. And next thing I know, I was already down there, didn't have any energy to wake up, couldn't take care of my children. I just had no energy. I had no energy, and I started feeling so guilty. And I was like, I don't have a purpose if I can't wake up in the morning and even take care of my family. And it was so embarrassing. My kids would be seeing, Mama, wake up, Mama, wake up. And I couldn't get up. I just didn't have the energy. And I started getting very suicidal again. So embarrassing. I was like, why did this happen again? Like, I kept blaming myself. And then to the point that I started really having visions about harming myself. And one day, when my husband was dropping the kids to school, I thought I wanted to end it. It was so impulsive. I thought about 4 or 5 minutes and then overdosed on all my medication because I just felt so depleted and so weak. And I thought I'm never going to be able to, because I remember the last time when I had postpartum depression, how much strength I needed to come out of it. Just thinking about the whole process overwhelmed me too, because I was like, I could tell the same thing is happening again. But luckily, I felt so guilty when my husband came home. I told him that I had overdosed. He called 911. I was rushed to the psychiatric hospital. Been good 7 days. All I was thinking about was my kids. I couldn't focus on myself. I kept calling back home. My husband, he says, Situ, focus on yourself. I was like, I have no idea about what focus on myself is. I just know it's like I'm having anxiety. I can't control it. It almost went like my anxiety went on like autopilot. Even if I said I wanted to relax, I couldn't. My chest was heavy all the time. And with that came the depression. It was just like a vicious cycle. And after 10 days, I was like, fine, I want to go back home. But my husband was like, Situ, you can't come back home right now. You're not ready. And I cried. I played the victim. I did everything I could. I had a very good case manager at the psychiatric hospital. Thankfully, I said, I'm not in a situation. I can't even think. Please help me. Where do I go next? And she did the research for me and told me to come to Evolutions. And then Tony was my therapist. And he's the sweetest and the most amazing guy. He saw me, he saw through me, he saw my vulnerability, and he always took care of me. He was always making sure I came to groups. I wasn't participating, I didn't want to talk because I was still so suicidal until then too. I was scared the therapist is going to figure out and send me back to the psychiatric ward again, and I kept running away from him throughout the process. I was seeing the psychiatrist. I opened up and tried different medications, and that itself was a scary process for me. Coming from an Asian culture where you're told, shake it off. You're being lazy. If you had depression, it was associated with laziness. Coming to that and then having to take medication again made me so guilty. And so that was my detox journey. 21 days, I didn't feel anything until I came to the next level. And I remember Tony always saying, even though I was not in the right headspace, one thing he always told me was show up for yourself. You need to reinvent yourself, Situ. I still wasn't sleeping, but I had my medication to kind of help me. So I had a little energy. As soon as I felt like I had a little energy, I started going for a swim, starting to talk to people. I was so disconnected from my family, my kids, the world. I had to find a way to connect. So I came out of my comfort zone and I started talking to people. I love doing nails. I started asking people, hey, can I do your nail? Can I do a nail? Because it's therapy. They would say, what do you want in return? And I said, I don't want anything in return. I just want the honor of painting your nail, and you pass on the kindness to somebody else. As soon as I started doing that, my mind opened, my heart opened, the medication started slowly kicking in, and I started feeling gratitude. And I know they say the opposite of depression is connection. And I started feeling the connection. I started healing. I started feeling better. And Evolutions has been amazing. It really showed me that you can be in a place with a bunch of strangers and they can help you heal. And the doctors have been very kind. The technicians, the therapists, I've had amazing experiences with the therapists. Started opening up more, learned a lot more about myself, and also realized that everything was not my fault. I think there was so many factors that came into play in my life that got me down to where I am. Once I stopped blaming myself for everything, then the healing process began. What I'm going to take from here are the toolboxes, all the therapists, the doctors, everything they have here at Evolutions, what they have given me is a gift. You guys have really helped me heal. Like, I never thought that this would be possible. And here I am. What I would say to somebody that's struggling with mental health right now is don't give up. I know the pain. I know it's excruciating with what you're feeling right now. I know it feels like every minute is torture and you can't breathe and you feel like you can't get through it. But there is help. And if I was able to come out from this point where I felt like I was totally going insane, I couldn't even put a thought together, yet alone talk about my problems. And I've come this far with the right support system. And now all I feel is love and happiness and connection. There are a lot of insightful and inspirational people here at Evolutions. And if you really take your time and listen to them, you get so much out of it. I just think I have a bright future.